Tom Taylor reaches the penultimate issue of his DCeased storyline, and much like last issue, it's all action with a little bit of plot progression thrown in. Some of the worries I had from the last issue carry over here, especially with Lobo and Spectre, both who are sort of used as Deus Ex Machinas this issue, and the bigger problems that have plagued the heroes throughout the series are just kind of solved in 2 pages and don't really matter all that much. Not only that, but Taylor does something really unlike him, which is, in this second last issue, sets up even more storylines, like Cyborg merging with Brainiac and taking over his operation and stuff, and Kandor being resized and Kryptonians now flooding back into the universe. These are threads that should come in like the 3rd issue of a series, not the 2nd to last issue. The Darkseid turn at the end was something I wasn't really expecting, being this is Taylor and I figured Darkseid would just immediately turn on the heroes and kill a bunch of them, regardless of being infected or not. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays with the heroes in their court in the final issue. Series artist Trevor Hairsine is joined this issue by Lucas Meyer, and considering all of the chaos and action going on, the extra hands are no doubt helpful. I like how Hairsine continues his gritty, bloody action throughout the battles, and it switched things up during the Brainiac and Cyborg battle, with Meyer's clean artwork really helping embody the sterile, sparse environments and nature of Brainiac and his ship. He also did a really cool moment with Superman this issue, which is very reminiscent of the Max Fleischer cartoon where Superman fights against a laser. DCeased War of the Undead Gods issue 7 has a lot of great looking action and spectacle, but the frantic rushed wrap up of the large scale plots running throughout the issue as it enters the final chapter. I'm going to give this issue a 6.5 out of 10. DCeased War of the Undead Gods issue 7 sees the Battle of Earth 2 begin as Lobo arrives, charging headfirst into it, killing Lightray like it was nothing. Big Barda kills Adam Strange without hesitation as Mr. Miracle spots Jacob, their son. Jacob unfortunately has been infected, jumping on his father and ripping his chest open. The newly reborn Spectre meanwhile kills the infected Highfather as he assures Damian that he is safe. Damian doesn't think he is, as he reveals that he has been infected during the battle. Damian tries to fight the infection, but he knows he cannot stop it. Cassie finds Damian, who apologizes to her for what has happened. He tells Alfred that it's not too late to save them, and while he knows the spirit of vengeance will want to tear them apart, he alone has the power to save them. Damian turns, clawing his face off as Cassie, in her grief and anger, returns to fighting Maxima, punching the superhuman as hard as she can. Spectre can tell that the hero's resolve grew stronger, and that drew Erebos to the planet, as above the battle, a Doom Tube opens and Darkseid, Supergirl, the Yellow Lanterns, and the Warworld come through, beginning their assault on the planet. Spectre tells Wonder Woman to keep them at bay as best she and the other heroes can until he returns, since he is needed somewhere else. Superman attacks Darkseid as Brainiac ambushes the villain from behind, telling John to hold him in place as he wraps his tentacles around him. Darkseid proves to be too strong and grabs Brainiac, shoving an infected mother box into his head and sending the being back to his ship to infect it. Cyborg witnesses Brainiac returning to his ship, so he follows, finding that the being is smashing up the bottled cities. Victor attacks him, telling Erebos that the cities are under his protection. Erebos tells the hero that he cannot protect the universe, stabbing Cyborg with Brainiac's tentacles. Victor can feel Vril testing his firewalls, thinking that that was a bad move since he knows he can't be infected or controlled by Erebos, but he can infect Brainiac and control him. Victor absorbs Brainiac into his body, erasing Erebos from his systems as he takes over all of Brainiac's technology and knowledge for himself. He gets a new idea thanks to his newfound knowledge, as Green Arrow tells Lois that there are hundreds of undead between them and the Arcs, and while he doesn't like to admit it, he doesn't think they'll make it. Cyborg arrives, saving the group and asking Lois where Kandor is. Superman meanwhile breaks off the fight from Darkseid, leaving Cassandra Cain to violently deal with the villain as he races off to stop Warworld firing its laser at Earth 2. John meets the laser head-on, engulfed by its power as he made his way to the emitter, ripping the weapon apart and destroying it. The force from the explosion blasts John back towards Earth as thousands of Kandorian Kryptonians speed up from its surface. surface. John falls into the now resized Kandor, where his proud father catches him. Spectre meanwhile returns from Earth 1 with hundreds of shipping containers filled with the cure, finding an army of Kryptonians changing the tide of war. Alfred dumps the cure onto the ground of Earth, giving it to Leslie and Damien, who is surprised that Alfred listened to him. Alfred thinks that he has grown into quite a sensible young man, as Cassie is glad to have him back, giving Damien a tight hug, despite Batman lamenting how he might have broken a rib before when he was hit by a new god. Darkseid meanwhile is pulled down onto the ground by the heroes, who call for someone to pierce his thick skin and deliver the cure. Lobo knows of a technique that will work, but Clark tells him his crude plans are not welcome there. Lobo claims to know all about advanced surgery, grabbing a cure and shoving his hand down Darkseid's throat. The monster instantly bites his hand off, which angers Lobo since that was his favourite hand to do his favourite things with. Darkseid reverts back to his normal villainous self, demanding to know what happened. Spectre tells him that he was used by Erebos, which angers Darkseid as he decides to ally himself with the heroes to wreak his vengeance on Erebos.